to start the show. The Good Life with BT. It's Nicole. Welcome to the Good Life.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. Good Life. These boys are crazy.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. What?
Hey, welcome to the Good Life Podcast. My name is David Taylor.
Yo, it's Spicoli. What's poppin'?
What's up, man? Yo, I'm fucking stoked, dude. So I've gotten to interview probably one of my other favorite bands this year in Mayday Parade. I got to interview Alex from Mayday Parade, man. And I got the other one today, man. We got Collin from Grayscale, dude. What is up, man?
'Cause the monks still smoke inside, and they all still got martyrs, but they pray to Jesus Christ.
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Hell yeah, man. Man, this interview could go on forever, man. I'm a huge fan of Grayscale, to be honest with you. So being from Philly, man, this is kind of I don't know how old you are, man, but so like when I got into music originally, it was like R&B and like hip hop and stuff in the early 90s, you know? So like I'm a huge fan of stuff that came out of Philly as far as like Boys to Men
Yeah.
Roots and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm a big fan of R&B in general, but obviously Boyz II Men and Roots, huge representation of Philly for sure.
Yeah, I also feel like only tough people come out of Philly because Pink is out of Philly too. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think she's from Doylestown. It's like a suburb right outside Philly. But yeah, I think isn't Taylor Swift from Pennsylvania? Isn't she? That kind of throws the whole algorithm off.
I would say you have what I call no skip music, man. I remember, and it's funny that when I told Spicoli about you, he was like, they kind of remind me of Neck Deep a little bit. And I was like, that's funny. You should say that, dude. Me and my wife were on a road trip one time to, I think, Indiana or Arkansas. I can't remember. But we were listening to Neck Deep's December. And then it played, you know, music that sounds or that you would like with that. And I think Forever Yours was the next song that came on. And I was like, what is this, dude? And I immediately saved it. And now I probably got like 20 songs saved in my Spotify list. So if one of those pop up, dude, we don't skip them. Like, we just let them play, man. So I guess man, it's hard to put you guys into like a category. I wouldn't put you guys like into a pop punk or emo category at all, man. You guys are just so different. What kind of style would you say you are?
I think we're just a rock band, man. I just think we're just an alternative rock band, honest. And I feel like that's something that, it's funny you said that, but I feel like that's always kind of been, you know, just the thing with Grayscale as far as like where our band started and like the Warped Tour scene and where it's kind of moved. And I feel like I like that. I kind of like that people don't know, you know, what to pin it as. I think there's positives in that. Like, but I think I would just call it alternative rock, and I like it because, you know, we can be like it's funny now. Like we're on a tour now with All Time Low, and it's like we're kind of like the heavier rock band, which is funny because we're like not a heavy band, but then we can do other, you know, or we tour the Somerset, same thing, or like earlier in the year, or we can be you know, the pretty boy, like more lighter rock type of thing on like a heavier tour. So it's like, I just kind of feel like we, you know, we're just an alternative rock band, man. And we kind of fit on a lot of different tours, and it's been cool for us to play with all kinds of bands like coming up and in the future and stuff. So yeah, that's what I would call it.
Did you say you toured with the Somerset?
Yeah, earlier this year. That was in the spring.
How was that?
It was sick. It was that Blossom tour. It was, I think, the first time they had toured in a while. It was dope. We had a great time. Yeah, great people.
I'm a big fan of them too, man. But so it's funny you should top on that about like not having a specific genre, because that kind of goes into my next question, man, which the first two albums, man, are amazing. It really feels like you graduated to this new sound with Umbra, though, man. Umbra is unlike anything. I think, what was the first single off that? Was it Dirty Bombs? Was that the first one? Yeah.
It was
It's
Dirty
just a
Bombs,
completely different feel, man. Do you feel that way about kind of that album, that it was just like, all right, we're maturing into this now?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was like, yeah, I think our band, like the roots of it, it's always been a rock band, but I think there's been a lot of, you know, each record has its own sort of sound and tapping into like what kind of production we're using and the feel of it. And I think Umbra was like a step further as far as like, you know, there's a lot of like piano and like There's a lot of like theatrical elements on number 2, like a lot of piano. Like Without You is very like performative, and there's like choir, and there's a lot going on. And then the music. But right now, I'm sure we'll get into it. But like we just put out a new single for the first time in a while called "Not Afraid to Die." I'm sure we're gonna jump into it, but I feel like that's just even more of an extension. Leaning even further into being like just a fucking rock band. Like we put so much emphasis on like recording so much of that live in the room together. And I think it's just been this progression of like, you start off. Adornment is to me just like our first record is a rock record. There's punk elements to it, and then it's like you have Nella Vita's got more pop production, and Umbra's got like kind of piano theatrical, and then like where we came around to with Not Afraid to Die is sort of like a grown up version of the beginning. It's kind of full circle. It's just like rock band thing from the very
Umbra
like
is
natural.
like Umbra's like almost like, is dark the word for it, man? Like even the
Yeah.
stuff is dark.
Yeah. It is. It definitely has a dark. I feel like it has like the darkest tonality as a complete piece for sure. Yeah.
Man. It's very that whole album, man, front to back is amazing, dude. I love it, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm getting more hooked. Like
Appreciate
you're
that.
developing,
Thank you.
you're going on tour. You got, I'm sure, like new fans every night because of who you're playing with, and you're on tour. And how's the response been to "Not Afraid to Die"?
It's been amazing. It's crazy. It's like we play it every night. It's the song we open our set with, and there's a part like before that dropout third chorus where it's like we kind of let the crowd sing like a few lines of it, and it's like just hearing it because we released the song the first day of this fall tour that we're on September 8th, and like every night hearing like more of the crowd kind of learn it and pick up on it has been amazing. And it's been like it's been a really good song for us. Like the fans are loving it. It's like new fans, old fans. It seems to be something that like everybody's really enjoying getting behind. And I feel like that song is probably unanimously our favorite song we've ever released and ever as a band. Yeah, definitely.
Really?
So it's like I think just where we are, like as artists, as people, as musicians, and like how we're making the music together in the room and everything. It's just like it all is feeling really good and like clicking, and it's cool to see the response being so positive. And just honestly, it's like the response to that song has been crazy. It's been amazing.
It's
Thank
so
you.
good, dude. Yeah. Is that coming with a full album, or is that just are you kind of releasing singles?
Top secret,
what are you
bro.
gonna do with it?
Top secret information. Yeah,
Everything's top secret. Every time we ask, every
we're
artist,
cooking, but we're just cooking a lot right now. But we're figuring it out.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask this about Umbra too, man. So there's a song on that album, man, that I would say like I think the biggest thing for an artist is like how they connect with people when they're writing and the music and everything. And there's one song on that album, dude. As soon as I listened to it like all the way through, and I text my dad as soon as it was over, man. That song "Live Again," man, is amazingly, beautifully written, man. Where was the idea to get the choir to like jump in like 3 minutes into that song, dude? That's like a punch of emotions to the face at 3 minutes in, man. It's so
Thank
good.
you, man. Yeah, that song's about my dad when he was like really sick. He's better now, but that was just like a tough phase in my life for sure. We had a choir on one song on our second record, Nella Vita. It's a song called Tommy Song. It's by my cousin, and there's a choir in that song at the end. And I think like I've always, you talked about R&B. It was one of the first things we talked about. But, like I've always loved I've always loved like soul in like whether like the genre like soul music or just like soul in music, like across genres, in R&B, and like just the texture and just the like what a choir adds to music to me is like it's always just been this like untouchable thing. And I feel like there's certain songs where I've wanted to bring them in, and "Live Again" was one of them. "Without You" on Umbra as well as a choir. But yeah, it just felt appropriate, honestly. Just like musically, just as a songwriter, it just felt like the appropriate thing to do was to like have them to like really like top that song off what it needed to be, and like to emphasize the story the way it was supposed to be emphasized and articulated. Like I feel like that having that choir at the end was a kind of a no-brainer. We kind of knew like I remember when I wrote the demo at the end of the first day, I was like, yeah, I feel like when we track the song in a year, there's going to be a choir at the end, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, It's one of those songs, man.
Yeah, you manifested it, the production value behind it, and to really make the song pop. I mean, that's where you can like take these songs and take them to a higher level. Do you feel like that's the direction you're going to go with like all these new songs, making sure like the production is top notch, and you want to make sure that they sound as best as possible?
Yeah, I mean, always, obviously, that's always the goal, is to keep it, have the best, not only like the best production, but like the most appropriate production for the song. Like I feel Not Afraid to Die, our new single specifically, it feels more like a band in a room. It feels more rock and roll in that way, and I feel like that is what it being in that space sonically is what the song called for. It's what it, you know what I mean? Whereas like, Carolina Skies off of Umbra is a totally different sort of, a little more of a pop leaning feel. So it's like, I think it's a record by record basis, it's a song by song decision, that you make. But of course, it's always having the best quality of production is important, but also having the appropriate production, is as important, of course.
Yeah, Carolina Skies is another. I mean, dude, that whole album. We could talk about this whole thing, honestly, man. I love Umbra. It's so good. Thanks, bro. So I've been dying to see you guys live, man. I've never gotten to see you guys live. I think it was last week. We were upstairs, me and my wife were chilling, and I was working on editing some podcast stuff, and I had Grayscale playing over my speakers. And I was like, man, why the fuck don't they ever come to Omaha? I know you guys came a couple years ago, like right after COVID, and I didn't get to go then. And then I was like, well, let me see where the closest thing they're coming is. And sure enough, I look, and you're coming on my birthday, dude, to the waiting room.
Yeah, dude, we announced we'll see you then. It'll be a happy birthday for you, man. We'll have to hang out. But yeah, man, it was we announced these shows. So we're doing this fall tour now, and like honestly, we announced these. There's like 4 or 5 Midwest states, like they're just like routing shows on the way home. So they're kind of like last minute, like announced shows, but we're excited. Like I think we're doing, I think it's Colorado Springs, Lawrence, Kansas, Omaha. There's Cincy. There's one more I can't remember. Yeah, but it's those markets. It's like on the way home back to Philly after this tour, because we end in like Vegas. Yeah.
Who are you guys playing with? Do you have people touring with you, or that's one thing?
Right now,
like in Omaha, who's playing that show with you?
Oh, we're just I think it's just us. I think we might have some locals like jump on them, but like, yeah, like I said, man, they were just kind of like last minute. We just put them up as like we're just gonna do some shows, like just headline shows, even if it's just us. I think we are planning to add on some locals to jump on, and probably like next week. That'll be. So I don't know when this podcast is planning to come out, but I imagine if it's pretty soon, we'll, you guys will see it by then with the support that we're adding. Yeah.
No, nobody on, just you guys, and you started off with Not Afraid to Die. I mean, that's like the best. Like, you don't have to wait for anybody. And then you guys just kick it off, Not Afraid to Die, get into the set, warm people up. I love it.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man.
You guys are doing the headliner set. How long of a set do you think you guys are going to rock it out for?
Probably do like a little over an hour, like hour 10, hour 15. I feel like it's normally like a sweet spot of like, you get everything you want, but it's without being like too long. But yeah. I think that for those like 5 routing headline shows, I think that's probably what we'll be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So before we even booked you as a guest on the podcast, I had announced it on our podcast page. I was like, yo, Grayscale's coming. It's on my birthday. Who's going? So, like, we're already pushing it. I'm going to bring a crowd with me, man. We're going to fucking...
I love that, bro.
It's going to be dope as shit, man.
It's going to be fun, dude. Thank you. I like that room. I think we played it one time before. It's cool.
Yeah, that's a great spot. A lot of huge bands have played in that venue. Like, I remember seeing 21 Pilots in that venue at the waiting room, and it was crazy. It was packed. Everybody was singing along to every word, and those guys were just going around the crowd being crazy. And I feel like this is just the beginning. What you guys are putting out now is only going to help you guys, and you guys are going to grow. I can feel it. Like, I've been on alternative rock radio for 20 years, and I was shocked when he was like, have you heard of Grayscale? I'm like, who's Grayscale? And I literally played probably all of your friends on the radio for all these years, and now I'm just discovering you. And that's the beauty of like music, man. Like, it's always evolving, it's always getting better. And when I heard you guys, I was like, man, why they should be played alongside The Used, Yellow Card, Coheed and Cambria, Neck Deep, like all these bands that we have played forever. Like, you guys fit right in that area.
Sick, dude. Thank you. Yeah, music's a beautiful thing, man. It's great. It's the best.
So I get to show you something kind of cool, man. I got to show Spicoli before this. I tried to show Alex from Mayday Parade. I was in person with him, man, when we did his podcast, but there was technical difficulties and shit fell apart. But quick story. So when I originally bought all of this gear, it was for music production, man. and I was testing it out when I first started, and I was like, I'm gonna try to like do these mashup songs, right? And obviously, Forever Yours is an acoustic song, and I was like, hey, what would Forever Yours sound like if it was like, you know, behind a full band and not the acoustic feel? And then I found out there was a Mayday Parade song that matches up with it really well. So I'm gonna let you hear what I mashed up, man. I want to hear your opinion on it. All right?
Okay, there you go.
My cave of regrets, drop the weight of my sins. The ground takes in the better man I could have been. All the promises, thousands of the corners. We would play pretend mom, but it was real me. Now I waste my days away. I know I can't recover. There's no love lost, but I'll be forever yours. Forever yours.
They match up well, man.
That's wild. What Mayday song is that?
That's Kids of Summer, I think, is what it's called.
That's crazy, dude.
I know, dude. I like usually if I match them up, I gotta like chop them up and this and that. And I literally just took the vocals from yours and put it on top and had to move it a little bit, and the whole song, dude, just sinks.
That's wild, man. I love that, dude. Derek, they played the first, the Baltimore State Fair was like the first show of this all-time world tour, and Mayday played, so I was with Derek like the whole day. We actually Derek and I did a little like mashup of Not Afraid to Die. Yeah, but I'll have to, I don't know, you should text me that. I'm gonna send it to him. That's crazy. Let's go, bro. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, man. I am stoked, man, for the 24th. But what else you got coming up, man? You got a holiday show coming up in Philly you were talking about.
Yeah, December 22nd. It's like our biggest holiday show we've ever done. So it's at the Fillmore. We're super excited, man. So finishing out this tour. Gonna be working. We might be in the studio for a bit later this year, and then we got our holiday show at the end of December, man, in Philly. We can't wait.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man. And we will we'll see you here live in a couple weeks, man. We can't wait.
Totally, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It was good talking to you guys. Thank you so much for having me, man. It was fun.
Until the midnight hour.